Last night, as you may or may not know, everything matters right now. Knicks, Pistons. Okay, potential playoff preview.
Oh,
I see you,
Lord.
Detroit. Pistons win the season series 3-1. Yeah, it's French. No OG, no Mitch Robinson, no Josh Hart. We knew that. But Cade had 36. Brunson finished with 15 and 5. Cat with 25 points, 10 and 5. The gentleman's sweep is what we call that in the business. Cade Cunningham in the series averaged over 30 points a game, which, you know, we've already sort of started thinking about the idea that this is going to be a potential matchup, and I think we feel very favorably in Detroit's favor. But for Cade Cunningham specifically, what does this mean?
It's just crazy because a 6 seed should not be a favorite in this series.
No.
And I don't think they're going to be a favorite, but there's no doubt about it. Detroit wants New York, and New York does not want Detroit. I think that's known. I think that's clear. They'd rather see Milwaukee in that first round. But this is just a style clash here. Cade Cunningham, you can't speed him up. And you would think a guy like OG or a guy like Michelle Beadle, with their length, with their versatility, they'd be able to slow him down or speed him up. And he's just so calm. He's so good. Detroit is so much better defensively. They can switch everything. They've added these vet guys that come in. They know their role. They knock down shots. Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. They kind of all just know their role. They space the floor nice, and they just give Cade Cunningham room to operate in the pick and roll, and he just picks every defense apart. It's unbelievable.
I agree with Chandler 1,000%. Like, this is a matchup nightmare for New York.
Yep.
You know, even though they're probably going to be the favorite seeding-wise, if you match these teams up, like Detroit just looks like a tougher basketball team, and they have all of the pieces to match up with the pieces that New York has, and it's going their way this season. So they're going to be a tough out. Like, if I'm New York right now, I'm bracing myself for a very competitive first-round matchup if this goes through right now with the way that Detroit is playing.
What's crazy, too, is obviously we know how good Cade Cunningham is, but look at their bigs and the physicality. Jalen Duren, he's 21 years old. When I watch him play, he's a grown-ass man. I'm like, this dude's 21. Isaiah Stewart. So between those two big dudes, they provide physicality that Karl Anthony Towns doesn't love. They're a deeper team than New York. They're a better defensive team than New York. And, again, there is zero answers for Cade Cunningham.
How did we get here? So, yeah, we're talking about the fact that Detroit, a lot of people, I think, would look to and say they got a really good shot at winning this. Let's move to the Knicks for a second, because we had Stephen Bondi on yesterday. We sort of talked about, you know, if they were to be upset. But we were putting it as if they got upset or lost to the Celtics. Like, let's just say it's even worse than that. They get upset in the first round. Lou, what kind of conversations do you expect to happen in New York if that happens?
Well, every year you're going to have to just assess the season, you know, the pros and cons, the good and bads, and all of those things you have to correct whatever doesn't go your way, right, if you're the New York Knicks. And with the expectation that coming into this season, like, they built this team to compete for a championship. And if you get bounced in the first round from a team this has been their first time in the playoffs for God knows how long, like, you're going to have to assess everybody from top to bottom, from front office, from the coaching staff to the players, in order for you to get this thing back to where you want it. And so it's a lot of basketball still to be played for New York. Obviously, they have a couple of stats that goes against everything that you feel like is important to New York. You know, they can't beat Boston. They can't beat Cleveland. They're 1-3 against Detroit. They got a lot of different matchup issues that they're going to see in these playoffs. But, you know, the ball hasn't went up yet. We'll see how that works. But if they possibly lose in the first round, you got to take a look at everybody and everything.
Yeah, it would be a big problem. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why. They put this team together, the starting five. They go and get a Bridges. They go and get a Karl Anthony Towns.
They gave up a lot.
To give up a lot, to compete against the Boston Celtics, basically. Then the Cavs have this great season. They have this great run. And now they're looking at a matchup against the Detroit Pistons, who won 14 games last year.
Dear Lord.
And then now they're the sleeper pick, and the teams are picking them against them in this series. So I think there would be some changes. There would be some serious, you know, soul searching and looking in the mirror here, because this team was built this summer to win a championship. They gave up a lot to bring in this best starting five in the NBA. A lot of people said, and I kind of agreed, on paper, this team is really, really good.
Sure.
They never had the depth, but again, that's not usually an issue with Tom Thibodeau teams. But man, we talk about smoking a series to a team that won 14 games last year. That is a big, big problem.
It is the feel-good story of the year, and technically. But here, okay, you got to give me two names, because we already sort of went over it yesterday as well. They don't have a ton of flexibility. They gave up a lot to get Bridges over there. So you give me two names that you could see being on the move in New York. Any two names?
I mean, that's what my man yesterday said. The Giannis, it's a pipe dream. They don't have the assets to get off. Mikal Bridges is due for an extension this year, so he's a package you could put around him and maybe kind of get something back. But off the top of my head, I wouldn't even know names because just to go and sign someone and get someone, they don't have the assets, they don't have the money, they're kind of stuck unless they want to move some of these pieces that they just brought last summer.
That's the other thing, though. Are we being fair? Like, have they had enough time? I know we're impatient, but...
Nothing's happened, by the way.
We feel it.
Yeah, we're talking as if they lost 4-1 to Detroit.
Yeah, nothing's happened, by the way. Like, we do have to give them a break. Granted, like, there's a lot of things that hadn't gone their way in the regular season.
Yep.
But anything happens in the regular season, and a lot of times you tend to hedge your bets with the team that's been better all season long, and that's still been the New York Knicks. Now, this wasn't a great outing for them against Detroit. They haven't had a great run against Detroit this season, but still, they are the favorite to win this series. They are the better basketball team. So let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, well, again, they could sweep Detroit, and we could be talking about a whole different situation here, and they go up and they give the Celtics a run for their money in the second round, which, again, I think that's kind of crazy, too, that I think everyone assumed the Celtics were going to win the East, right? So now they're going to possibly face the Celtics for the second round and not the Eastern Conference Finals is just another issue for them that they're going to have to go through.
Maybe this was all a ploy, like just lose a bunch of games to the good ones and then trick us.
I don't think that was the plan.
It was a strategy.
I don't think
Keep
so.
us wondering. Cade Cunningham, we've discussed the fact that he's averaging 30 against the Knicks. The regular season, he's been amazing. He's going to make All-NBA. If we get this series, and we've seen it over the course of the years in the NBA, superstars tend to become superstars in the Garden, Lou. Like, that is kind of where people have their coming out party. Could you see that for Cade?
I can, and he's primed for it. Out of all these young stars that we have, like, I feel like nobody is in a better prime position for it to be Cade Cunningham. You know, some of these guys have already had somewhat of a playoff experience, and he hasn't. You know, I'm sure this is going to be a stage that he's excited about. You have a lot of eyes on you that usually don't watch because of playoff basketball. It's going to be a great opportunity for him to raise his profile even more than it is already. And if you look at the way that he plays, like, he's always poised. He's never out of body, never doing anything outside of the rim of the things that he can do. He's a big physical basketball player, big guard, has everything in his bag. He can put his back to the basket. He has the mid-range. He has the three. When you have all of those tools going into a playoff run, you got to be excited and you got to be confident to know that this is the right guy for the job. So this is a great chance for him to have a coming out party. What better way to do it in Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, and he's already a superstar. He's been doing this all year. It's kind of like the Walter Clayton kid from Florida. Not many people knew about him. Then all of a sudden, everyone's watching him prime time, and you're not just watching the Detroit Pistons game on a Tuesday. Now you're going to get the chance. You're going to get it on the biggest stage. And
that was like a shameless Florida plug.
Did you see how he did that?
No,
I mean, dude went from a second-round pick to a lottery pick in just like a week. Like, it's just like, that's. I'm telling you, that is kind of stardom that he can get into. And again, Cade Cunningham's already a stud. He's already a star. He's going to make All-NBA. I just don't know what team. It's probably going to be second. I can argue it could be first.
It's all right.
But the kid has had an unbelievable year. He's going to win Most Improved Player, which also, all this stuff about the Most Improved, I don't like that either. Oh, stop giving it to the number 1 or 2 pick. It's like, why? If they made the biggest jump and the biggest leap, and look what this dude is doing on that team with no other All-NBA player or no other All-Star in his team.
So you don't like
that's
the argument that they
It's the most improved team. It's the most improved player. Like, think about it. He is the most improved everything. That
but he came in with a set of skills that should have already been above him.
He came in with an expectation.
Yeah, but from year, that's not the award. It's not from your career as a high schooler.
I don't know. Let's talk about it.
I don't think that's an improvement.
It's from last year to this year.
That's just him.
Player.
Yeah.
It's from last year to this year, though. It has nothing to do with his
He still was this guy last year. The team wasn't.
No, exactly. So that helps.
Now,
right?
He was still
great.
great.
Career highs, but it's not like it
but
went
SGA is going to win.
8 to 18.
SGA is going to win MVP because his team's good, right? So wouldn't he win most improved?
But he's also scored 20+ points in 70 straight games.
If you're racing cars and you have a Ferrari, you start with a great Ferrari, and then all of a sudden it does better.
So
it doesn't mean it improves.
So we're
more.
going to knock Cade Cunningham
because
he's always been a prodigy in his
We're not knocking him, but
he's going to win. Like,
so
you should give the most improved player to like an Austin Reeves because he's undrafted.
I mean, yeah, I can make that argument.
Like,
that should be a different award.
Doesn't even want the award. That's what I'm saying. Like, so that award, it's typical. Sometimes it's for guys that you feel like, oh, wow,
where have you been?
He did all right for himself. We don't feel like that for.
It should be like, who are you?
I don't look at the award like that. I look at this guy last year and the team last year compared to this year, which is the most improved.
We got to cancel the guest.
Do you think Cade Cunningham wants to win most improved?
No, I think he wants to win like MVP. He doesn't care about
You're making our point.
But again, but he's going to.
But most improved should be almost like, who are you?
For a guy that feels like I improved like a Austin Reeves. Like
I've never disagreed more. I've never disagreed more. No, most improved from last year to this year. And by the way, Jaden Ivey, his teammate before he got hurt, would have won it before Cade Cunningham got hurt.
But a ton of people's numbers went up. Like, that's not how it works.
If that's the case, then let's make Jokic the most improved player.
Jokic's numbers are up. You want to give it to him?
Yeah, he should be in the race.
Now you're
He should be in the race.
All right, keep it moving. Here's the toughest question I think I'm going to ask today, Lou. Who would you rather have going into these playoffs? Cade, most improved, or Jalen Brunson?
I would rather have Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
Yeah, I would rather have Jalen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just based on the fact that he's proven he's a veteran guy. And when you've been in that water, I would prefer to deal with the guy that's had that experience before. But I would also love Cade Cunningham. I would absolutely love a bigger, stronger, more physical guard that plays the way that he plays. But if you ask me right now, which guy would I prefer with the pedigree that Jalen Brunson has had, I would definitely rather have Jalen Brunson.
Has anyone ever won Most Improved Player twice?
I'm done with you.
Are we still doing that?
Think about that. That would be crazy.
It shouldn't be a #1 pick. I know that.
That would be crazy. But again, I'm a big Cade Cunningham guy. I love him. But Jalen Brunson also, let's not forget, he's probably the favorite to win Clutch Player of the Year, which that's an award.
Okay, now we can talk about that.
So I'm probably going to go with that guy now, who I've seen him do it before. And again, as much as Cade is on the rise and as much as he keeps improving by the hour.
You want to argue about another award?
Clutch
player shouldn't be an award because if you're clutch,
Here we go.
It is, Lou. It is. I don't make up the awards.
But if you win Clutch Player of the Year, doesn't it mean you just had a bunch of close games?
No, it means you hit a bunch of game winners and sealers.
But they were close games.
Yeah, close games.
You should be blowing out your opponent.
You could have lost it. You could have missed
Lou.
it.
Why am I in all these close games?
But Lou, you're winning today. You really are. You're winning each argument. Each and every. You are 2-0. Okay, so Jalen Brunson, we know.
So we're knocking the Clutch Player of the Year because they're in close games?
No,
or
Lou
we're
just
not
said
rewarding him for stepping up and making big plays? That's what clutch means.
I would rather have the Clutch Player Award be the argument than Most Improved with a #1, #2 high draft pick. Yes, I'd rather have that.
Okay, let's have a separate award for guys that weren't supposed to be good that are good, not guys that were good now are great.
Like Jokic. Jokic is most improved.
He keeps getting better. If he averages 40 next year, he should win most improved.
Put $1,000 on it. Jokic is most improved. All right, there was
MVP.
Another important game happened last night.
So anyone ever won most improved and MVP?
Ooh, no.
No chance.
But should.